And I want, in some senses, to zoom right in and talk about the central event that defines Christianity, namely the resurrection. I've just written a book on life after death. Christianity is unique in all the religions of the world in saying that life after death is not just coming sometime, it's already happened. There's a guy, Christ, he died, he came back. And I want to look for a moment at the resurrection as a historical event. I want to ask, is there actually some evidence for the resurrection? And I want to begin with a few facts that historians agree on. Mainstream historians generally concede that these facts occurred. Now we're going to try to make sense of these facts. So what are the facts? Fact number one, there was a guy named Jesus. He walked on the earth. He preached. He made some enemies. They got a hold of him. They crucified him. Fact number one. Fact number two, a group of Jesus' disciples, after his crucifixion and death, came to the tomb in which Jesus was buried, a tomb with a big stone on it and Roman guards guarding it. And they said, when we got to the tomb, we found the tomb empty. I'm not saying the tomb is empty. I'm saying the disciples claimed to find the tomb empty. Third, numerous groups of disciples on different occasions said, we saw the risen Christ. We saw Christ after his death. He came to us. He spoke to us. He showed us his wounds. And we believe we have seen Christ again. That's claim number three. The disciples claim on numerous occasions to have seen the risen Christ. And four, he spoke to us. He showed us his wounds. And we believe we have seen Christ again. That's claim number three. The disciples claim on numerous occasions to have seen the risen Christ. And four, the disciples were so excited by this and so animated that they began a movement of conversion. Even in the face of horrible persecution and opposition, people said to them, renounce Jesus or be killed. Many of them went to their deaths. So now these are the four facts that need to be explained. How are they explained? The Jews, for the first couple of centuries after the death of Christ, said the disciples stole the body. That's why all this happened. The disciples stole the body and then claimed that Jesus was resurrected. But think about it. Disciples, mainly women, somehow fought off the Roman guards, rolled back the stones, stole the body? It's a little far-fetched. How would they have done that? And if they stole the body, they would have known Jesus was actually dead. And yet, why would they go to their deaths in the face of persecution and say, no, he's alive? Who would give their life for a lie, for what they know to be a lie? So modern theorists reject that. They don't say, they dismiss this idea that the disciples stole the body. They say that's crazy. But the main atheist explanation today is the disciples were having hallucinations. They didn't really see Christ. They weren't lying, because no one goes to their death for a lie. But it was sort of like you think you saw Elvis, or you think you saw UFOs. But the problem with these hallucinations, for the most part, is that hallucinations are typically private. It's like a dream. Typically, hallucinations aren't shared. You don't have hundreds of people who have exactly the same hallucination. Frankly, if a bunch of people say, oh, we were in Vegas, we saw Elvis, are they lying? Are they having a hallucination? No, they probably saw one of the Elvis impersonators that's playing one of the casinos in Vegas. Or people who say, I saw a UFO. It's not that you're lying, you're not having a hallucination. You probably saw a meteor or a comet. It probably wasn't aliens, but you didn't make it up. These disciples knew Christ. They claimed to have seen him, and they were willing to go to their deaths for what they saw. What's the best explanation for that? Now imagine if the resurrection occurred, that's a fantastic explanation. That would explain why the tomb is empty. That would explain how Jesus came and appeared to them. He really did. And it would explain why in the face of persecution they were able to do what they did. So here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that even when we set aside faith and look at history, there is evidence for God, there is evidence for Christianity.